After the Trump assassination attempt, many Republicans were quick to blame Democrats despite the fact that it was a Republican who tried to assassinate Trump. But now that there's been some time, they've decided to change their messaging a little bit. They've gone from, oh, look at this Democrat trying to assassinate Trump, to now saying that the Democrats are just really evil and pushing people online to become more radicalized. However, this is just simply not true. Republicans are known for and have always been the ones to threaten the Democrats. And even if they're not directly threatening, they're the ones who go to violence more frequently than not. January 6th is a great example of this. When's the last time the Democrats have tried to throw an insurrection? And this is further proven by the Secret Service, who just dropped a Biden assassination bombshell. But before we dive into that, because that is more on the extreme end, let's go ahead and take a look at some Republicans trying to blame Biden and the Democrats for Trump's assassination attempt.
I believe that much of the rhetoric from the left has escalated to this moment. Just last week, we saw Joe Biden trying to excuse his poor performance at the debate and get that behind him and say, now we need to put Trump in a bullseye. President Trump was literally put in a bullseye after the president of the United States, the sitting president of the United States, called for him to be put in a bullseye.
I'd like to clarify what you just said. Do you believe that President Joe Biden bears any responsibility for what happened today, or does the responsibility for the shooting lie with the shooter?
I do believe that Joe Biden is responsible for the shooting today. Kyle Clark, an innocent supporter of President Trump, someone who loved President Trump and was there exercising their right to support him, lost their life today. Everyone who has called him a fascist, everyone who has called him a threat to democracy, who said that he should be put in a bullseye, as Joe Biden said, they need to have some very deep reflection tonight before another tragedy like this takes place.
In light of Saturday's shooting, many Republicans are criticizing Biden as casting Trump as a threat to democracy. That said, you yourself have used some of that language to criticize Joe Biden. Do you regret the use of that language?
No, Democrats have been a threat to democracy. We're actually seeing that play out right now as Democrats who had a primary and Democrat voters across the country voted for Joe Biden. Now you want to see a unilateral, last-minute switch out. That's not part of the democratic process. What also is important is Joe Biden said, put President Trump in a bullseye just day before. That rhetoric needs to stop.
I'm angry. I'm angry because I believe that Biden has blood on his hands. I believe that he's the reason why this happened, that the radical left agenda in the United States is the reason why this happened, and that the people that have been pressing the mainstream media and the intelligence apparatus in our country, the rotted judiciary that has raised the level of vitriol by these crazy people in our country against President Trump. You know, just 5 days ago, Biden said that we need to put Trump in the bullseye. And then all of a sudden, 5 days later, here's where we're at. We can talk about what they've done in order to do things to hurt the American people. The fact that we have an anemic amount of defense at the border. You can talk about the fact that everything that we have heard in the media, the mainstream media, is now coming to light. It's all a orchestrated lie. And now we have an assassination attempt against the 45th president of the United States. It's an abomination. So there's a radical element that has actually consumed or infected every part of our government. We call it an establishment, but really it's just organized crime. And there are a lot of people in our country in positions of power and authority, all the way up to the attorney general of this country, that have committed treason against the American people. So I believe that it's not just a small number of people that support President Trump. It's a large amount of the population of this country that realize that we're dealing with a very, very, very evil element in our country. This is not a difference of ideology. It's a sentiment between right and wrong, good and evil.
So now that it's clear that Republicans are in fact blaming Biden for this assassination attempt, let's go ahead and take a look at that Biden assassination bombshell that the Secret Service just dropped. So this article that was just released, the headline, "Man Arrested After Threatening to Kill President Biden." So yes, luckily the man was arrested before he could act, but let's get into these details that show just how bad this could have gotten. A man has been arrested after threatening to kill President Biden and giving a graphic description of how he would do it. Jason Patrick Alday, 39, from Quincy, Florida, was taken into custody on a federal criminal complaint. Jason Arcudi, the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Florida, revealed the charge after Alday appeared in a federal court in Tallahassee. The complaint accuses Alday of sending threatening communications, making threats against the President of the United States, and targeting federal officials. Now here's the thing, there are people online making threats against presidents every single day, but it has to be really bad for you to actually be prosecuted for what you're saying. So that's how you know this was serious. The Secret Service launched an investigation into Alday in June after he allegedly told a healthcare provider, "I don't like President Biden. I want to kill him," slit his throat, and then a few days later, a Secret Service agent traveled to Florida and interviewed Alday alongside Gadsden Country Sheriff deputies. During the interview, Alday denied making any threats against the president, which of course he would. However, according to a criminal complaint, Alday became agitated when the agent questioned him and stated he did not like Biden. The Secret Service then said Alday began posting violent threats on Twitter. In one alleged post, Alday wrote, "Sources, Joe Biden's health is declining rapidly. Not doing so good at all. Should I finish him off?" Other posts, supposedly written by Alday, mentioned wanting the Secret Service agent dead and vowing to slit Biden's throat. So yeah, like I said, it has to be pretty bad for you to actually get arrested for all of this. Alday was arrested by the United States Marshals Service Task Force and the United States Secret Service on Monday, and he has been ordered to remain detained pending trial, which is good because he is very clearly a threat to the president. This case is under investigation by the United States Secret Service and being handled by Assistant United States Attorney Eric Welch. Now, according to another article, another post that he made was, "I'll kill Joe Biden today." Now, while it may seem like this is as a direct result to the Trump assassination attempt, that's just not entirely true. Like, sure, it could have been exacerbated because of that, but some of these posts were as far back as June 30th, before the assassination attempt. Now, some Republicans who may hear this might think, you know what, it's honorable. If you really don't like the president, it's good to stand up for what you believe in, or something like that. However, there's a fact about this guy that really makes him seem like not the best kind of character. And I think even a lot of Republicans probably wouldn't want to associate with him. Because I haven't seen any article talk about this, but this guy is a registered sex offender. Back in 2006, he molested a victim between 12 and 15 years old. So yeah, not really the best kind of guy you want on your side of the aisle. But this kind of is the exact kind of person who fits right in with any other Trump supporter, so that makes sense. So it is clear that even before the Trump assassination attempt, but especially after, have become even more radicalized and anti-Democrat. Because they keep blaming the Democrats for these actions, which, again, that's not the case. That's just not true. The Republicans are the ones historically who have had a more violent rhetoric. And remember, the shooter was a Republican himself, so, there's that as well. So after everything, it is just so clear that the Republicans are the party of violence, not the Democrats. And I mean, just look at their love for guns. That should tell you everything that you need to know.